Hi everyone, it's Heidi from Joyful Artistry, and I'm here today to show you my It Is Personal journal. This little journal is made out of a linen doily. It's a one signature journal. I've got some little button closure here. I've got pieces of vintage doilies on the cover here with some cheesecloth and some lace. I have this is a vintage closure here. Get that cheesecloth out of the way. It's a little elastic. If you can see it's stained. It's vintage. It's stained. I love it. Got some little dangles coming off the ends. Got a little cameo and a little gear. Got some little key and a heart there. Here I have, says, It Is Personal. This is where the button is sewn on. So I just made a couple of long journaling tags to just tuck in there. Tuck right in there. I added this picture on the back. I can't remember their names, but it says wedding ? Might be their wedding day. This is a card catalog card, and then this is from Harper's Magazine, vintage Harper's Magazine. You can use that for collaging in your journal. Get a little doily, some coffee stained paper, this is German book page with a vellum sticker flower. I sewed some lace on the edge here of that graph paper. Little vintage doily with a button. Made a little tuck spot. This is another card catalog card, and I added some vintage lace that I sewed on with a little piece of eyelet fabric. I think that's eyelet. I think it's considered an eyelet. And then this parchment paper, I sewed a little bit of lace on there and some music paper, and I just took a paper clip and put some more of the Harper's Magazine. I loved that image. I wanted to make sure somebody got some use out of that. Okay, and then piece of dictionary page, added notes here. I tear my papers. A lot of my papers, I'll tear them down to fit in the books. And sometimes you get a nice little jagged edge, and I really like that. Some music paper. Here's a little washi tape here on this vellum. And I love the vellum. I love that you can see the quote through the vellum on the next page. It says, "I'll tell you all about it if you'd like to hear." This is a gorgeous piece of crocheted or tatted lace that's sewn onto the coffee stain paper. Some lined paper here. Some more journaling pages. This pink parchment. I really like the pink. Oh, and this here, so it looks like a flower. It's got little flowers on the edge of that lace. And then I just sewed this little Rolodex card and this vintage dictionary piece and some Battenberg lace. You can tuck stuff underneath if you'd like. Added tissue paper. This is it's computer paper from like the 80s. Oh, I made this beautiful fabric flip here. I love the colors of this one so much. This is a piece of my snippet roll that I made. Some fabric here, different doily pieces here, lace, doily. I love the different elements. You can clip things throughout this. You can cut pieces off and use it throughout the journal. This here is a little tuck spot. I added a little journaling tag and some more of the page from the Harper's Magazine, the vintage Harper's Magazine. So this is a long paper bag that is folded in half. My dad collects these little paper bags for me. The diner he goes to puts the silverware in them on the tables. So he saves his for me so that I can put them in my journals. And so this one, that's what I've done with this, is I've added the image on the back, and this little card here, I folded it in half to make a pocket in a pocket. Some tissue paper. We're on the second half of the signature. It's kind of a large graph paper that's used in schools. This is a vintage calling card with some coffee stained cheesecloth behind it. Some vintage spiral notebook paper. Just a little card here to help open up that little fold over. It's more lined paper, coffee stained paper. Oh, this is gorgeous. Let's see if you can see it. If I pull it up. Crocheted lace. It is just stunning. Some vellum paper in here. And I have, so I take my scraps from when I'm making my journals, and I fold them over, I put them in a pile, I sew them to make little notebooks. And this I folded over a little doily, added some fabric here. This is vintage, it's a vintage image off of a board that someone had collaged, probably, I want to say from the 30s or 40s. Collaged all these images on this board, and they're just flaking off now because the glue has dried. Here is a dictionary page, coffee stained paper. It's a little button with some Battenberg and some cheesecloth. Here's a piece of vintage doily that I cut apart and added here with a button. This is that German page from a book. A little doily. This is a vellum sticker. It's a flower. And this here is, I don't know if you can see, but right here, there's the number 13. Somebody wrote on this card. I did not patina this. This is the color of the card that you see here. It's gorgeous. And then I added the vellum flower, and it says I fell in love, and I added a little S&H green stamp, and then just a little furs and skins from Boston, Mass. Edward Cacus and Sons. He's shippers and manufacturers. And then I took this doily, this little table doily, I folded it in half, sewed it down, added a little green stamp because I think they're fun, added some fabric and cheesecloth and a button here, and made it a nice tall tuck spot. And here's a nice little journaling card for that little tuck spot. So I hope you like my It Is Personal journal. This was so much fun to make. I loved using the old doily and all the laces and everything. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe, and have a good night. Thanks.